So this is survey teardown 17. And we're looking at a question from a UsabilityHub survey. Usability is a platform for user testing. And in that platform, when I logged in, there was a chat box, the live chat bottom right corner. It popped up and invited me to this survey. There were a bunch of other questions, but I pulled this one specifically, and actually there are a couple versions of it. So there were three different ways that three different instances of this question. So same format of question, but they're asking slightly different things. And I want to walk through and talk through these. I was given no prior context with these questions. So whatever you see on the screen is as much information as I was given to orient myself to the question. But let's talk through it, because this is a question that I'm seeing a fair bit. It's a very common question, and it is not effective. It is in terms of the accuracy of data. So whether it might collect data, it might collect seemingly good data, but the accuracy of the data, the quality of the data is at risk with a question like this. So let's dig into it. Please consider the following product. And then they have Pro, which I imagine is, we can see here, this looks like what that product would be. It looks like they're calling it Pro. It's an annual subscription for unlimited tests, which can be run using all of UsabilityHub's features. The product's billed annually, but we're asking for the US dollar monthly price. So going through the survey myself, I had to read this a couple of times to orient to what was happening, and that is not a good sign for a survey. You need the survey to stand alone. You need the survey to be able to explain and communicate effectively and quickly and clearly without having someone read multiple times. Else, it's very likely that they'll hit go back or just kind of disappear from taking the survey altogether. If it requires too much effort and the output, the outcome or the benefit to them is not clear or strong, it's very unlikely that they'll persist and continue the survey. In this particular case, I do believe there's credit that I would get into my account, but you still want to make the survey experience positive, and often that's as simple as tightening up what are you asking. So we've actually got the question at the bottom here, which you'll notice I have to read all of this to figure out what is happening. So I have to retain all of this information and then apply it to the question, and then I find needing to go back and be okay, but what's the product now? If I have to think about whether I'm going to buy it or not, now I need to better understand it. So I might read it, which I did. I read through it, and then I need to actually register it when I reach the question. So a little formatting of the question, tightening it up, explaining better what's happening on the page. What am I seeing? Orienting me to this can really, really help with the way, the asking of the question, the experience of the question, and then of course the quality of the answer that you're getting. And it looks like, okay, so they're testing an annual subscription. The product's billed annually, but we're asking for the US dollar monthly price. This is a bit of an awkward phrasing. So are they just letting you know that they're going to be positioning it in their marketing and communicating the monthly price, even though it's billed annually? I actually don't remember what the pricing model is for UsabilityHub. So it would help to know here, is an annual subscription, is that actually what I'm following, or am I following a monthly subscription? I don't remember. And that's going to help me actually evaluate here. Oh, okay, this is it's billed annually, but they're asking for the US dollar monthly price. Well, that's already the plan that I'm on versus not. That's going to help orient me to answering the question. Is this that new or not? Am I reacting to the annual subscription, or is this an addition that I can have? Only one user is included in the price, but an additional 9 users can be purchased. And it doesn't really say how much they would be purchased for. I also don't have a sense of price, and yet they're asking about buying. So when they're saying we're asking for the US dollar monthly price, I don't know what price they're referring to. there's a lot of questions that this introduces. And then, of course, the fact that it can be run using all of UsabilityHub's features. I'm not remembering those features. This question appeared the moment that I logged in, and so the features are not top of mind for me at that moment. I was just about to create a test, so a user test. So it's nice that they have them here, but it's like I'm going to have to be able to read all of these little lines to kind of jog my memory. And then, of course, there's the question itself, right? This is a future-focused question, which means you're asking people to predict the future. We don't have all the information we need in terms of price points to answer this question, but the question is asking about, like, would we do this thing? And a better question would be not so much asking about the solution, which is, hey, would you buy this product? Is this a product that you would buy? And more about focusing on the problem, right? That people will buy what they find useful and what they find valuable. Understanding the value and the use is step one, and a byproduct of that is then purchasing. In this scenario, I feel like I'm not really seeing the value. I mean, unlimited tests, okay. So it sounds like unlimited tests run using all of their features. So that sounds like value, but I'm having to like figure it out and think through it and then process what all of those elements mean for me. And do I use all of these features? Is that valuable for me? Is it valuable for that particular price point? So a lot of variables that are coming up. So my recommendation here would be focus on utility. Focus on whether or not the user that you're interviewing or surveying rather uses each of these features, right? So you want to figure out utility and value, and you want to figure out what the problems are. What are the limitations of the current subscription or the current plan that they're on? And use that information internally for you to then determine, hey, this is going to be a good solution. With this, I might say yes or no, but I'm still not fully clear on like what exactly am I getting. And I might not connect the dots if this feature was, or if this plan, this option or product was launched. So you really want to not put the onus on the customer, on the user to say, hey, yeah, I would buy that. And more on them to identify what they know, which is, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I use X on UsabilityHub, and I always use this particular feature, or I always use these particular features, and I sometimes use this other feature. Like then you can start to build like which features to lump together. Potentially there has been data that has informed the development of this particular product or the idea, and perhaps this is like it sounds like this is product validation, but we want to always validate with reinforcing what the problem is, and is this problem relevant to you? Because in which case, hey, here's a solution. So you lead with a problem. It's very tempting to ask users about the solution and say like, hey, would you buy this product? Is this something that you would buy? Is this something you would spend money on? It's very, very tempting to go down that road and to get data that sounds like it means something, like, hey, everybody said yes, or everybody said no, or it was split this and this type of way. But it is imperative when we're doing research to stick to asking people what they know, and what they know is their current experience. And they can speak to that, and they can speak to that at length and with great accuracy and quality of answer, quality of response. And that needs to be the foundation. That can then become the foundation on which we internally make decisions about the product. So let's take a look here. This product is a monthly subscription for unlimited tests, which can be run using limited features. So this is the basic plan. This product is billed monthly, and we're asking for the US dollar monthly price. So it looks like, and if we look here, this is a pay-as-you-go option. It's a single test which can be run using all of UsabilityHub's features. So they've got like 3 different options, all of which are different variations of the same. right? It's this idea of different packaging of the test, which is great because it actually took me like a couple of times reading through these, because they came one after the other, to realize that, they're very similar. I had to go through the test a couple of times because I was just sort of kind of swimming through it. I wasn't often respondents are not thinking that they need to really process everything you're saying. They're reacting to one question at a time. But what's happening here is these are different layers or packages of the same type of offer. And it looks like the validation that they're wanting is which of these plans, like what's the best way to package? What are people wanting? Are they wanting to buy the basic? Do they want to buy the pay-as-you-go? Or do they want to buy the pro? In that scenario, you want to really, really focus on features. You want to focus on the basic features. Like, are more people using the basic features? Are more people wanting to run, like it sounds like the unlimited test is the constant. So if the features is the variable, and they're all kind of build, I guess the other one, the different billing cycles as well. So I would actually separate out those questions about billing monthly, about billing annually, and then asking about the features, like what's more useful? Which means, are these features useful to people? Are people using these features? Are they eyeing these features? Let's look here. This was the pro. I want to see the pay-as-you-go. And the pay-as-you-go plan includes access to all features. So we've got a couple variables that are worth sort of splitting out. This is a single test, right? So now we want to understand, like, how relevant of a pain point is this? How relevant is it that, like, I actually don't want to buy a whole month's worth or bill or kind of pay annually. I just need a one-off test. And the one-off test can use all of their features. So asking more about the pain point, like, have you run into an instance where you've just needed a single test? As opposed to even, would you buy this product at all? I mean, another variation would be speaking more specifically. Would you buy the pay-as-you-go product? So at least it helps people differentiate between each of the products, especially when you have these questions one after the other. But again, this is not reliable data when we're asking people to predict. As a side note, this at all here is not, it's got a bit of a tone to it, right? It's like, would you buy this product at all? And that tone is unnecessary in a survey. You actually want to strip it out and go for neutral. You want language that can, that is more objective, is kind of more flat toned. It can stand independent of interpretation. So would you buy this product is a direct, flat question. You want to stick to flat messaging in a survey, because there's not someone to like interpret, and there's not someone there to sort of help filter and navigate and color what you're reading or color the question. So you really want to keep it very, very neutral. But separating out is going to be extremely important, because we've got a few things, like they're asking about all of the features, the paying as you go, the single test. So what is it that is the ultimate pain point here? Is it that people want to run all of the features and they just want to have a one-off test? Is it that they want select features, these features in particular? This might also be data that you can kind of ask a more advanced question. Presumably you're able to see what features your users are using, and so asking a more nuanced question. So maybe they have a basic plan right now that allows them to use these features, but they've eyed these other ones and they actually haven't purchased. So this would be a great opportunity to ask, like, have they if they've considered buying or using any of the others, have they would like if they're interested in any of these. That's going to have more impetus for something like this, which is all of the features at this alternate billing. So really kind of being separate and specific. It takes a lot of work up front, but the more you front load that work into the survey design and the question design, the more that you can actually use the data directly coming out in a reliable way. You're going to be collecting data that's like, oh, hey, people have this problem, so this is a perfect solution for them. Or perhaps you identify the problem that they're experiencing and come up with an alternate solution, something that's more creative than these options. And you might even want to ask these kind of in their app experience. So when someone is using the basic features, perhaps you're asking a question about them, or you ask, like, you know, have you used these alternate features? Or if you're able to ask questions and trigger questions inside the app experience, it helps in the sense that you're kind of like, they become prompts. They're already engaging with the app, they're using the app, and they can actually comment on their experience through your question in the process, right? This isn't like a separate question that they have to take a time out for and now remember each of these features. They'll be in the app, using the app, and then these features appear. Hopefully that's helpful. It definitely does take a bit of legwork to separate these pieces out, but it will pay off dividends in the end. So please take that time up front and get really, really clear on the goal. Is the goal to validate these specific packages? Is it to identify if all of these packages and kind of like how to organize them or how to order them? Have we already decided on these kind of packages, or I'm calling them packages, but products is what they're calling them. Have they decided on these products already and they just want to confirm? All of that's going to inform what types of questions they're asking, but it really does sound like they need to be asking more specific experience-based questions, not projections and hypotheticals, but ask about their current experience, the pains and limitations of their current experience, what they're using and their actual like current usage, and use those to drive product feature development. Cool. I will see you tomorrow in the next survey teardown number. I always forget the number, but I believe it's number 18. Bye.